What's the most cruel thing you can do to a player in a survival game? Well, it's giving him a quest, of course. Because when a survival game writes a story for you, it's not just a mere trap. You expect that already. A masterful survival quest is building a trap together with you, and you don't even notice it. The pressure to survive is only there to dismantle your tactics and morals piece by piece. Let's see how the best survival games use brilliant, unfair quest designs to destroy you. Welcome back to OpenSplit, where we talk again about survival games. Let's begin. It all starts by taking the obvious way out of the table. So there's this enemy base. It's too strong for a head-on fight, or it has just some kind of weird plot armor. But look, there's an artillery gun right there. The perfect solution. Except it's locked for some reason. It might need a specific control chip or some other reason. It doesn't matter. Just like that, the player had a plan, but it's gone now. They're not trying to storm the base anymore. That's not possible. They're on a new mission to find this chip. The game has redirected them. You feel this in Metro Exodus. You can see your train, your only way forward. But to get to it, or to make it work again, for some reason, there's a quest in between, and you need filters. You kind of need something. It could be anything. It's a quest. It forces you into the heart of the game's most intense and atmospheric spaces. In that sense, you could say it's almost like a guided tour. And we can see this in 3876 AD Corruption very precisely. You have one clear goal: destroy this base. But how do you do it? There are multiple options. But what happens if you just say, go get the chip? How is this interesting? How is this going to make survival more dramatic? The question is now not what to get, but how to get it. The chip is in a guarded facility. Easy choice. And this is where the game should look at you and look how you play, and present the bill according to that. You could assault the place directly. That will cost you ammo, health, maybe your best fighter. You could call in a favor from an allied faction you've been helping for ages. That costs the social capital you've built up. Or you could manufacture your own way in, spending a huge chunk of your own hard-earned resources on building a siege engine. The game isn't giving you one answer. It's asking what kind of player are you, and then making you prove it by engaging deeply with one of its core systems. You can think about this same philosophy in a game like Project Zomboid. There are no NPC quest givers, or at least I don't think they are. There might be one or something. The quest is the world itself. The need for medicine comes from a deep laceration, not from a mission marker. Solving it audits your entire operation. Do you have the skills to suture it? Do you suture things? Well, you have medical skills. So, anyways, do supplies need to be sterilized? A safe place to rest for the week is all it takes to heal, right? The game systems, medical, crafting, combat, weather combine to create a problem with no single answer, only a series of escalating costs based on your preparations, on your playstyle. It's easy to have these different paths in 3876 AD Corruption as well. You just have to structure the quest around that. So what's the idea? Well, we could just add a bunch of guards in front of this. So now you have to make a decision. How are you going to go about this? Are you trying to do it with your allies? Or are you going to try to find a better weapon that's going to be more effective against these types of enemies? There are different things you can do, and the choice is yours, but you must also pay the price. Now, of course, there's another option. You could just try to be sneaky about it. There's nothing kind of making you do things one way or the other. You can be just like a ghost and steal the chip, for example, and get out clean. Maybe not. You've beaten the system, except the best games have a system for that too. Taking the easy way triggers a hidden script. The faction isn't stupid. They know the chip is gone, for example. Now stronger permanent patrols spawn across the region. You avoided the upfront cost. but now you have inherited a lasting, low-grade war. I think this is the meticulous systemic world that Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead presents, and I really love that game. Even though these systems might sometimes not be fully fleshed out, but they're definitely there, and I kind of imagine them to be this very intricate design where your actions influence how other NPCs think about you. There are NPCs that are outright hostile from the get-go, and others that are friendly but might turn hostile if you do the wrong things. And that's a very interesting premise. It creates the need to really think about your actions, or at least that's what it should be doing. So let's now say, after all of that, you finally get the chip, and now you can call in the strike and destroy the base. Mission accomplished, right? Not even close. A masterful survival quest uses its conclusion as a detonator for the next problem. We could make, for example, the artillery strike so powerful that it actually collapsed the entrance to an ancient sealed complex underneath that we didn't know about. While the player was doing what he thought was the right thing, we can use that against him to make a better story. Now something new and terrible is crawling out of that place. You solved your military problem and managed to secure survival, but accidentally you also activated the game's creature spawning system. This is the core loop that games like Rimworld and War Fortress use to its maximum potential. Nothing happens in a vacuum. Surviving a raid immediately engages your medical, burial and mood systems. Mining into a new area might trigger a hidden monster check. The end of one story is the designed beginning of the next emergent one. So if we try to be smarter about this, in 3876 AD, after obtaining the chip, we should probably add more intrigue to that. Maybe the chip has false information, and striking the enemy base using that chip would actually do more harm than good. Something like that would be inside the story. It would be easy to implement, but it could be a very impactful revelation for the player. And I think with that we can now finally come to the most important part that a masterful survival quest must do. It must have a world that remembers your actions. If you chose to just brute force everything, maybe a memorial appears in your base, a permanent somber reminder with a subtle moral penalty because you lost so many soldiers. But if you chose a different route, draining your resources instead to craft a special weapon, maybe the best mine in the area is now exhausted, which might be a problem later on. Your choice is actually compiled into the data of the world. This is obviously the legacy of old school RPGs like Fallout 1. Helping or destroying a town isn't a checkbox, it's a permanent alteration to the world map, locking and unlocking possibilities forever. Your survival story becomes unique because of these quests. In 3876 AD corruption, in this case without anything special happening after obtaining the chip, what will happen if you give it straight to the quest giver? Maybe there's someone else who might be interested as well. I won't spoil you the answer, of course. You will have to figure that out for yourself. And with that, you will create your own personal survival story in this unique and harsh military sci-fi world. So what's left after the cascade settles? After the base is in rubbles and the new monsters prowl around the world that has now hardened around your choices? You're left with your story, not the one the game intended for you, but the one you wrote together with the systems inside the game. A masterful survival quest isn't about giving you a task to complete. It's about giving you a blank page, and then, with every closed door, every dilemma, every hidden consequence, it's forcing you to write pages in your own journal with permanent ink. The true cruelty isn't the difficulty, it's the ownership. It was your choice to have the brute force approach, and now you have a memorial in your camp. It was your choice to be a thief, and now patrols of other factions hunt you on the roads. You exhausted the mines, drained all your goodwill, and you even awakened new horrors that you have to deal with. These aren't punishments, they are your signature on the world. The game's systems are just a pen, and you held it. You made the mark, and now you live in the world you authored, a world that remembers every scar, every shortcut, every desperate moral and ruthless decision you had to make. That's the final, devastating step of the design. It makes you the co-author of your own ruin. The quest isn't a test of your skill or your character, because in the best survival games, you always fail in the most interesting and impossible ways. You don't just survive, you leave a legacy, and that legacy will beautifully destroy you. Anyways guys, that's all I had to say about survival quest designs. I think it's a very interesting topic and I'm very interested in what you have to say about that, so please tell me in the comments below, what's your favorite survival game? And maybe you even played a survival quest that hits all the marks. I would love to hear about that. With that said, thank you so much for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can check out my amazing upcoming survival roguelike 3876 AD Corruption on Steam if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Please like and share the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!